What if I told you the greatest rap battle of all time didn't happen on stage? It wasn't a freestyle war, it was life. It was legacy. It was Tupac versus the notorious Big icons. Two coasts, two very different philosophies on what hip-hop should be. One stood for revolution, the other for realism. And almost 3 decades later, we're still asking, who is the true G.O.A.T of rap? Let's settle this, once and for all. Background check. The rise of two giants. Before the East met West, before the bullets and the legacy debates, Pac and Biggie were just two young black men growing up in America's harshest realities, on opposite coasts but with strangely parallel fates. Pac Amaru Shakur was born into resistance. His mother, Afeni Shakur, was a Black Panther who defended herself in court while pregnant with him. His godfather, Assata Shakur. That revolutionary spirit wasn't learned, it was inherited. Raised in poverty, bouncing between cities and identities, Tupac's early life was a crash course in survival, oppression, and rage. Poetry became his weapon. Art became his voice. Before he dropped bars, he dropped monologues on stage. And when rap called, he didn't just spit verses, he spoke truth to power. Christopher Wallace, known to the world as Biggie Smalls, came up in Brooklyn's concrete maze during the crack epidemic. His world was raw, unforgiving, and survival meant being smart, sharp, and silent. Biggie sold drugs, dodged bullets, and used music as an escape hatch. His charisma, effortless. His flow, legendary. He could make you laugh and cry in the same verse without raising his voice. Both men came from the struggle. Both became icons. But how they told their stories made all the difference. Lyricism, poetry versus precision. Pac rapped like a poet bleeding on the page. Biggie rapped like a sniper, precise, cold, and smooth. Let's compare. Tupac's Dear Mama. You are appreciated. There's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand. That's a son. That's vulnerability. That's hip-hop breaking your heart. Now Biggie on Juicy. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. That's nostalgia. That's relatability. That's every 90s kid nodding their head in understanding. Pac painted his emotions on the wall with a spray can. Biggie carved his words into the concrete with a switchblade. So, what's better? The raw nerve or the razor-sharp edge? Storytelling. Realism versus reflection. Here's where it gets real. Pac told stories that hurt to hear. Brenda's Got a Baby isn't a song, it's a documentary. A 12-year-old girl pregnant and discarded by society. Pac turned silence into sound. Changes dissected racism, police brutality, and economic inequality, decades before hashtags made it trendy. But Biggie wasn't silent either. Warning and Gimme the Loot are audio crime films. The way he switched voices mid-bar to play two characters? Genius. On Everyday Struggle, he admits, I don't want to live no more, sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. That's depression. That's pain. Hidden behind Versace shades. So here's the question. Do we crown the man who turned pain into protest? Or the one who translated pain into poetry without a tear? Discography, quantity versus quality. Let's do the math. Pac dropped 11 studio albums, including 7 posthumous ones. Biggie? Just 2 albums, but oh, what albums. Ready to Die is a debut masterpiece. From Suicidal Thoughts to Street Dreams, it's dark, honest, unforgettable. Then came Life After Death, a double album that proved Biggie was more than street tales. He could do radio hits, R&B collabs, and still stay grimy. But Pac, he gave us the emotional avalanche of Me Against the World, the West Coast explosion that was All Eyes on Me, and the haunting rawness of the Don Killuminati, the 7-Day Theory. And remember, he recorded All Eyes on Me in 2 weeks. Biggie had the tighter catalog. Pac had the longer one and arguably the most influential. Which matters more, the clean-cut gem or the mountain of raw diamonds? Charisma and persona. The poet versus the king. Let's talk presence. Charisma isn't just about how loud you speak, it's about how deeply you're felt. And when it comes to Tupac, his presence was seismic. Whether he was speaking on social justice in an interview or delivering emotional performances in films like Juice and Poetic Justice, Pac radiated an energy that drew people in. He could quote Machiavelli one moment and confront a rival the next. That unpredictable, layered persona, equal parts philosopher and outlaw, wasn't crafted, it was who he was. Pac didn't just perform hip-hop, he lived it. He didn't need a mic to command attention. His eyes, voice, and intensity did all the talking. Biggie, on the other hand, didn't explode into a room. He glided in. His charisma was quiet confidence. He wasn't loud, but he was unforgettable. He wasn't aggressive, but you never doubted his dominance. According to Styles P, Biggie made everyone around him feel equal, whether it was a rap star or a friend from the block. That class, that cool-headed G energy, made Big feel like royalty. Pac was the fire. Biggie was the crown. And both, undeniably magnetic in their own ways. Influence and legacy, immortality measured. This is where the crown gets heavy. Legacy is what's left when the music fades, and in Tupac's case, it never faded. His influence wasn't just musical, it was cultural, political, spiritual. He became the face of resistance for a generation. From protests to college classrooms, from prison walls to poetry slams, Pac, words continue to echo. The Rose That Grew from Concrete isn't just a poetry book. It's a manifesto of survival. His Thug Life tattoo wasn't glorifying violence. It was an acronym. The hate you give little infants F-bombs everybody. He made his pain political and his rebellion poetic. That's why his image is still on t-shirts, murals, and documentaries worldwide. But Biggie's legacy carved deep into rap itself. He changed the rhythm of rhyme. His flow became the gold standard, smooth, syncopated, and effortless. Rappers like Jay-Z, Nas, J. Cole, and Drake all walk in his lyrical footsteps. Biggie taught the art of storytelling with cinematic clarity. Even with just 2 albums, he shifted the genre's direction. His influence might be less visible in activist circles, but within the DNA of hip-hop music, Biggie's voice is eternal. Pac sparked a movement. Biggie shaped a sound. Both men redefined what rap could be, but only one became a symbol recognized far beyond the culture. Who really wins? So, who's the real G.O.A.T? If you crave flawless flow, clever wordplay, and verses so tight they could slice glass, then Biggie's your king. He was the tactician, the craftsman. Every bar was calculated, every rhyme precise. He made storytelling an art form, turning street survival into symphonic poetry. But if you want something deeper, a voice that shook systems, sparked movements, and still makes teenagers cry to "Dear Mama," then Pac takes the throne. He didn't just rap, he roared. His lyrics bled truth. His passion lit fires in places music had never reached before. Biggie was jazz, smooth, layered, and technically genius. Tupac was fire, loud, raw, and impossible to ignore. So, who's your G.O.A.T? Is it Biggie, the wordsmith with a velvet voice? Or Pac, the poet who moved mountains? Drop your take in the comments, no beef. Just legacy. Like this video if you felt anything at all, nostalgia, chills, even goosebumps. Subscribe if you want more real talk, raw debates, and stories that shape the culture. And hit that bell so you don't miss the next chapter in hip-hop's greatest battles.